Hi guys, and welcome to my March wrap-up. This month I read 9 books, which isn't bad. It's nothing compared to last month when I read 15 books, but that was pretty much insane, and I was quite busy this month. I think 9 books is still pretty great. Anyway, I'm going to show you which book I read. The first book I read this month is The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. Next book I read was George R.R. Martin's Son of Ice and Fire. This is part 3, A Storm of Swords, and this is part 1 of part 3, and it's called Steel and Snow. Basically, I've seen the Game of Thrones series, and I'm kind of reading the books and watching the series simultaneously. I watched the first season, then I read the first book, then I read the second book and I watched the second season, then I watched the third and fourth season, and now I've read the third book, and I've also already finished the fourth book, but I read that in April, beginning of April. Yeah, I thought this was really good. I think this might be... Now this isn't my favorite part. The next part, book 4, is actually I think my favorite in the series so far. I really liked it, despite having watched the show. A lot of things were different. It was interesting to see the choices that they made. A lot of things are kind of the same in essence, but they are slightly different, and I don't know, it was really interesting. And I did watch the series a while back when it was airing, so it's been enough time that I didn't know every single detail anymore. So yeah, if you have seen the series and you're not sure if you want to read the book, I really recommend the books. If you haven't seen the series and haven't read the book, I really recommend you read the books and then watch the series. I also read Where She Went, which is the sequel of If I Stay by Gil Forman. I'm not going to tell you too much about this book because it kind of spoils the first book if I do, but basically it's more about Mia's boyfriend and what he went through when the accident happened in the first book, which is what the whole book's about, so that's not really a spoiler. And what happened after with him, and I thought it was really interesting to see his perspective and what he went through. Yeah, and it deals a lot with emotion and with trauma and with dealing with things or not dealing with things, as might be the case. And I really recommend it if you've read If I Stay or seen the movie. I recommend this book. Next is Blood by KJ Wignall. Again, I really love the cover. It's really detailed. Basically, it's about this boy Will. He's 16 years old. He lives in I'm not sure when, like 1300s or something like that. And 3 witches are being burned, and at that burning, he gets bitten or cut, he doesn't know what, but anyway, he gets really ill and he dies. And then about 100 years later, he wakes up in his grave, digs his way out, knows that he shouldn't dig up by some sort of instinct, and finds himself in these dungeon rooms that have been prepared for him. And he is basically a vampire. He doesn't know that he's a vampire. He's never met any other vampires. The whole legend wasn't there yet when he was born. So only like after 200 years of being undead does he find stories and legends of vampires. And basically this story takes place when he wakes up. Again, he has to take these sleeps from time to time. And he wakes up from one of those sleeps in now, like I think it's 2014 or 13 or somewhere in 2000, and then he finds this girl and he just knows that she's there to help him, that he has to befriend her, and basically he's trying to figure out who he is, who made him, and how this girl can help him. And I thought it was a really, really interesting take on the whole vampire thing, because it is different than normal vampire lore. I'm sure it's been done because everything's been done, but I haven't read a book yet that's quite similar to this. So if you like vampires, I really recommend this book. If you aren't really, either way, if you don't really care if it's vampires or not, I still recommend the book. I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was a fun read. It has a lot of mystery in it. You're not sure what's going on. And yeah, I can't wait to read part 2 and 3. Last month I read Geek Girl and I really, really loved it. So I ordered all the other books as well. I have part 2, part 3, and even the Book Day book. And I really like them. They were funny sequels. It's kind of the same formula as the first books, you know, like things go wrong a lot. She's really unlucky, like really unlucky. But it's funny, there's all these little facts in there, which I really like. Basically, if you don't know about these books and you haven't seen my previous wrap-up video, it's about this girl who is a total geek. She loves about facts, she loves math, she loves learning, basically everything to make her really unpopular. And she also has this nemesis on school who basically it's her mission to make her life miserable. And then she is spotted, scouted, whatever, and she is turned into a model. And it's really fun to read how she tries to get over her insecurities and how she deals with the modeling world when she doesn't give one crap about fashion, which I thought was really funny. So yeah, if you are interested in fashion at all or modeling, I really recommend this. If you like geeky things, I recommend it, and if you like humor, I recommend it. So they were all really good. I also like the Book Day one, which was just kind of like a really short story. And I recommend that you read them, and I think part 4 is already out or soon to be released, so I can't wait to read that too. I also read The Sin Eater's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury. Again, the cover is so beautiful. I really like this book, way more than I expected to like it. Basically, it's about this girl who is told that she's basically some sort of reincarnation of the daughter of the two gods, so called Dawn. Because of that, she has to take this poison to show the world that she is really this reincarnation. She survives, but everyone else would die if they drink it, and her skin absorbs the poison, so whenever she touches someone, they die. It's all about her and her life in the castle where she lives, and she has all these guards who have to protect her, but she has one loyal guard and then a lot of guards that keep changing because no one really wants to be around her, because even though she's basically some sort of deity and they sort of revere her, they are also really disgusted by her because she has to execute people, and they're also really afraid of her, so no one really wants to be her guard for long. And then this new guard comes along and he isn't afraid of her at all, which she finds really weird. It was just really interesting. There's a lot of mystery in it, fantasy of course. The queen is basically mad and evil, and she has to deal with that. The princes come back, and basically there's a whole lot of drama, there's a whole lot of mystery. I don't want to say too much without giving the plot away, but I really recommend this book. It was fun to read, and I can't wait to read the next part. The next book I read is one that I've wanted to read for ages, but somehow never did. I've had it for ages as well. It's Stardust by Neil Gaiman, and I love the movie. I've seen the movie a while back, and I've wanted to re-watch the movie, but I've also wanted to read this book for ages, so I just kind of didn't watch the movie, put it off so that I could read the book first, and I finally read it, and I loved it. It was really good. It's different than the movie, or, well, the movie's different than the book really, but I really liked it. I like this version. I'm not sure if I like it more because it was a while back that I saw the movie. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of humor in it, a lot of fantasy, a lot of action. It's really good. And I also found out that this copy is actually signed. I didn't meet Neil Gaiman, I wish I had. I have no idea where I got this book, but it's signed, so that was really cool. If you don't know what this book is about, it's basically this boy lives in the city of Wall, which is next to a wall, that's why it got its name, and there is this gap in the wall which leads to Fairyland. And Tristan's father went to Fairyland himself. There's a market every 9 years when ordinary Earth people can come to Fairyland and buy things. Basically, his father slept with a girl there, and from that union Tristan was born. He doesn't know that he's half fairy, but one day he was walking with his beloved Victoria, and he asked if he could kiss her. She said no. He says that he would do anything for her, but Victoria doesn't believe him, and when they see a falling star, she says, okay, get me that star. And You may ask me anything. So basically, if he gets her that star, he can marry her. You're not allowed to cross through the wall, but because he's half fairy, he has the right. And he tries to find the star. Only the star turns out to be not a piece of rock as he expected, but a girl who doesn't want to go with him and who's kind of cranky because she fell. And she'd rather be up there with her sisters as a star. So it's a really, really interesting book. It's a really interesting premise. And if you haven't read this one yet, I really, really recommend it. Those were all the books that I read this month. I hope I can make this video a little bit shorter than my book haul. If you haven't seen it yet, I bought more than 45 books in March, which is really, really bad, but yeah. And the video is almost 30 minutes long, but it's worth it, I promise, and you can always skip parts that you find boring. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you have recommendations for me to read in April, and if you really like this video, then give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos from me with book hauls and talking about books and everything, then please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Doei!